It's a little time for We Gucci, Nah Fam. Secret Squirrel, what do we got?
All right, Matthew, you spent the whole show talking about who to add on waivers. Let's talk about who you need to drop. Starting with the Redskins wide receiver Jamison Crowder, drafted as wide receiver 39. He has just 40 yards through 2 games. We Gucci or Nah Fam on keeping Jamison Crowder?
Yeah, unfortunately, he's a Nah Fam. I mean, you think about this, only 40 receiving yards in 2 games this season, fewer routes, targets, and yards than either Josh Dotson or Paul Richardson. Neither of them are lighting it up. This Redskins offense seems kind of stuck in second gear. Chris Thompson's the only part of the passing game that's working, maybe a little bit of Jordan Reed. Last 2 years, Crowder has more games under 7 points than he does with over 10 points. It pains me to say this because I love Crowder, but there's just too many weapons there, not enough focus on him. I have no problem dropping Jamison Crowder in 10-team leagues. Who's next?
All right, another wide receiver for you. Pierre Garçon was drafted as wide receiver 34. He has just 78 yards in 2 weeks. We Gucci or Nah Fam on rostering Pierre Garçon still?
Yeah, I think we Gucci. Look, I get it. It's been a slow start to the season there with Pierre Garçon, but 2 very tough matchups to start the season for the San Francisco 49ers, Vikings, and the Lions, obviously, and Slay was on him for some of that game. So led the team in receiving yards last week. He was tied for the team lead in targets. 49ers just have the 4th fewest passing attempts in the NFL. My expectation is that will rise up. I don't think they expected the running game to work as well as it did. I don't think they're always going to blow out teams the way they were with Detroit. And then, of course, the Lions had to make that furious comeback. So I think better days are ahead for Pierre Garçon and the entire 49ers passing offense. All right, Secret Squirrel, who's next?
All right, next up, Cleveland Browns running back Duke Johnson, still 78% rostered. He has just 6.5 points on the entire season. We Gucci or Nah Fam for keeping Duke Johnson on your roster?
Yeah, he's a Nah Fam for me. Honestly, I really thought Duke Johnson was going to have a big year here, but the truth of the matter is it's just not happening. Tyrod Taylor's not really looking for Duke. Remember, he's combined for just 3 receptions for 15 yards through 2 weeks. Last year, Duke Johnson had at least 3 catches in 14 out of 16 games, just played 22 snaps last week. He averaged almost 33 snaps a game last week, so he's playing less snaps. They've got a 3-headed monster there. I don't know that the offense is really clicking in terms of the way, because they have more pass catches, because they have Jarvis Landry, because David Njoku. We're seeing Antonio Callaway get some looks as well, and the addition of Carlos Hyde is a better pass catcher than people realize. Duke Johnson seems to be being phased out of that Browns offense. I don't think he has the kind of production last year. Unfortunately, Nah Fam on Duke Johnson. Who's next?
All right, time for a handsome quarterback question. With the emergence of guys like Ryan Fitzpatrick and Patrick Mahomes, preseason favorite Jimmy G is just QB 25. We Gucci or Nah Fam on keeping Jimmy G on your roster?
It's been tough, I get it. But we Gucci, same analysis that I used with Pierre Garçon. Look, kind of 2 weird games to start the season. Tough matchup against Minnesota, and then they ran so well and got up big on Detroit. But despite the early struggles, he's still 9th in the NFL in terms of yards per attempt this season. Remember, George Kittle dropped that long touchdown pass in week 1. I think his line looks a lot different if that 80-yard touchdown pass comes through. Since he became a starter last year, still has the 4th most passing yards in the NFL. 49ers have the 4th fewest passing attempts in the NFL. Again, I don't think that always is going to be the case. Game flow, remember. And Marquise Goodwin banged up in game 1, missed game 2. He doesn't have all of his weapons there. So I understand how tough it is. But for now, I'm hanging tough with Jimmy Garoppolo. We Gucci on him.